Disclaimer: if you are interviewing for a part-time job in retail or fast food or whatever, how you do on the interview doesn't really matter. All that really matters is your availability, so you don't have to watch this video. There's two types of questions: behavioral and technical. Behavioral questions are easy because you can lie. Look up the most common behavioral questions and make up a story, usually where someone else makes a mistake but you keep calm and give a solution. Technical questions test your actual ability to do the job. These questions are pass or fail. You have to study. Look up your job title and watch mock interviews and see if you can answer the technical questions that they ask. If you can't, just copy the answer from the interviewee if they got it right. The most common question interviews start with is, "So tell me about yourself." This should be your most scripted answer, but it should come off as you at your most natural. The biggest problem people have is taking too long on the introductions. The interviewer has your resume. They don't need you to re-explain it back to them. Basically, we're gonna script it in a way that keeps it short and to the point. You can script your introduction with a 3-step process. First is a simple greeting. Also, add a little icebreaker to relieve some tension. This should be the easiest step to not mess up, but I used to introduce myself with my first and last name, which came off too formal and robotic. Next is your experience. Most people, especially recent graduates, try to be too technical here, but you should explain your experience like you're explaining it to a parent who isn't in the field. They'll ask you another question when they want the technical details. If you don't have any experience yet, that's fine, but you should be able to talk about something to show that you're not doing nothing. The end of your introduction should be about your future. This is where you talk about your own interests and how it aligns with what the company is looking for. One of the most important parts of this is ending off on a question that you genuinely want the answer to. This will turn the interview into a conversation. If you're in tech, just ask about the current project that they're working on. If you're not in tech, ask them what a typical workday usually looks like. Now, with this as the introduction, your interviewer is now more engaged. The actual interview starts here. When you answer questions, try to understand the business aspect of why you did something. Experienced people talk about problems they solved and how it impacted the business. The technical side was just for solving that problem. People who don't have experience usually focus on the technical details. Just remember that companies don't care about how smart you are. If you can bring them money, they'll hire you. You're probably gonna fail a lot of interviews, even if you're the best person for the job. And it's because they don't choose the best candidate. They choose the best interviewer. You should do as many mock interviews as you can to get your delivery right. Record yourself to make sure that you don't come off as too shy or too cocky. The more interviews that you do, the less awkward you'll start to be. So make sure to practice. If you don't have someone to do mock interviews with, use ChatGPT's voice mode and have it act as an interviewer. Also, tell it to be as strict as possible to avoid it kissing your ass. You can also copy the job description into it and have it generate you interview questions, or have it rate your answers. If they ask you if you know something that you don't lie. Just admit that you don't know it. These people work daily with what they're asking you about and can sniff out surface level knowledge, but you might get away with it if you try, so do it at your own discretion. The final part of the interview, they'll ask if you have any questions. This is the time to show your listening skills. If you have a smart or genuine question about what they work on, ask. But if I can't think of anything else, I just go for a more personal question. How's the office like over there? Is there a coffee machine? It's an obvious question, but this usually catches them off guard and cements the conversational/friendly thing that we've got going on. And that's the guide of how to interview. This is a bit more open-ended than the how to make a resume video or how to mass apply for jobs. You'll have to switch your approach up depending on the interviewer. But I hope you learned something from this video. That's all from me. Bye!